All right, welcome to today's lessons. We're going to be talking about parametric equations for lines in three space. And we got a nice little picture here showing us a line in three-dimensional space. We're going to be using information we already know about parametric lines and applying it to three dimensions and also making a vector connection. So in our first problem that we're looking for here, we are asked to find the equation of a line in the direction of vector 2i plus 7j minus 3k and through the point 5, 0, negative 2. Now to connect this with the picture we just saw, the vector that we were given could be like that vector a on the picture. It's not necessarily this specific line, but it tells us the direction of the line, and the point that was given to us could be any of these points, p1, p2, or p. So the way we're going to do this is just like when we wrote parametric equations. We're going to start by having our three parts, because it's three-dimensional, x, y, and z. And we have a starting point for each of these, which is 5, 0, and 2. So we're going to start with x at 5, and we're going to start with y at 0, and we're going to start with z at 2. And then we're going to use the direction vector to determine how it moves for each step of t. So in the x direction, we move 2 steps for each value of t. In the y direction, we move 7 for each value of t. And in the z direction, we're going to have minus 3t. And we have just written our parametric equation in three space. Now we can take that same equation and we can write it in what's known as vector form. We're going to use the letter r of t to represent this. And in vector form, this is going to look like this. We're going to use the pointy parentheses as we do in vectors. And for the x component, we're going to write a formula, 5 plus 2t. For the y component, 7t. And for the z component, 2 minus 3t. And we're going to connect this back to the picture I had here. We can put in values for t, and based on those values for t, we get a vector. So let's just take a look at that previous picture. We pick a value for t, and we get a vector, and at the end of that vector is a point on the line. All right, so now we're going to move on to another problem here where we're asked to write the parametric equation for the line through 2, 3, 4 and negative 1, 5, 7. And in this case, we can start at either point. I'm just going to start with 2, 3, 4 since it came first. And we weren't given a direction vector, but we certainly can make one up. So here's 2, 3, and 4. And I see that to go from 2 to negative 1, I'd be subtracting 3. And I know that it's going to be a line, so it's going to subtract 3 every time. So 3 for every t. To go from 3 to 5, I add 2. So we have plus 2, t. And from 4 to 7, I'm adding 3t. And now you know how to write equation of a parametric equation in three space.